Well, once again, good morning, everybody. Just having a seat and grounding our sit bones into the earth. You may want a blanket, a couple blocks, a strap, and we're going to utilize a ball today if you have one handy. Um, we're not going to start out right, but just have that handy. Meanwhile, let's just sit and drop into our breath, drawing that breath in through the nose and out the mouth. Releasing any tension that may be in the neck and the shoulders. Drawing in that fresh oxygen. Welcoming your day. And as we continue with our breath pattern, we'll just move through the 5 element sounds, the exhale sounds, starting with the element of water and the WHOO. Then second, we go to the element of wood, springtime, in which we're in. That is shh. And then moving on to the summer and the element of fire, and that's and then we have the ujjayi breath. And if the ujjayi breath just doesn't resonate with you, you can always just breathe in the nose, out the mouth. And then finally, well, remember the earth is represented by the ujjayi breath, and those are the in between seasons and the solstices and equinoxes. And then of course, we have autumn and the season of, or the element of metal, and the sound is. So as you breathe deeply in through the nose, begin to exhale out. And if you do one of the other sounds first, that's completely fine. Inhale and then exhale out. Next inhale. Exhale out. HA. Next breath, ujjayi, if you practice it. That's that victorious or kind of ocean breath. Next inhale. Exhale. Now I invite you to use any of those sounds on your exhales just for the next several breaths moving forward. And just pay particular attention to which one may resonate most with you. Continue with that breath in the nose and out the mouth. And then notch the fingers and the thumb, or just the pads of the fingers. Come to your K27 endpoints of the kidney meridian, right below your collarbone. Begin to massage, tap, or thump, breathing in the nose and out the mouth, waking up the body's energies, the meridians, those things that carry the energy in your body, connected to all the organs of our bodies. And shake off, flick off the fingers, move to your thymus, stimulate your T cells, breath in the nose, out the mouth. Ah, deep breaths. Shake and flick off side seams. Do that a little bit more. Work out any excess junk we may be carrying around, metabolizing or digesting of this past weekend or week's stuff, if you will. Breathing in the nose, out the mouth, and then shaking that off. Coming to your cheekbones now and tapping with whatever pressure feels good for you. You can do it lightly, you can do it a little bit more firmly. Firm really kind of wakes things in the facial muscles. Breathing in the nose and out the mouth. Shake that off. Pause and breathe. Integrate the four thumps. And then begin your homolateral, same side. Slap it on tops of the thighs or the knees. Dust it off and cross it over. Breath in the nose and out the mouth. Crossing over those energies, bringing our energy level up to hopefully 100%. You can repeat this as many times as you need, 2 to 3 times at a go during the day. If you're feeling extra sluggish, shaking that off, set your intention, and then zip that up, seal up your energy, and sweep it out into your field. That intention, that is. Inhale and sweep. Last time. And finally, that hookup, setting the energetic spine, cleansing the entire auric field, several layers to our aura or our etheric energy. Most things manifest through our field first. So this is just kind of clearing it, just like you clear your smartphone or your tablet when you've had lots of different applications open. You probably know what I'm talking about. That's what I equate it with, clearing. Shake it out. Sit up tall, hold on to the knees, and begin our seated cat and cow. Let's move slowly, scooping out, inhaling into that gentle back bend or flexion, or excuse me, extension. Now you can continue that breath in the nose, out the mouth. You can make any of those 5 element sounds with your exhale, or just breathe naturally, but focus on your breath. Bring in some circles here. Deep breaths. Maybe even reverse those circles if you are doing them. Notice where in your body you're feeling this movement. And then come back to seated. Let's begin to weave our arms. This is another way to just clear out the space and populate our field with those figure eights. The more figure eights we have, the healthier we are. Come down. We'll do that one more time and then hinge forward as we are bringing the arms down in that weave. Draw that belly button in and up to engage. Hinge, weave, and walk the hands forward. Deep breath. Slowly come up. Let's switch the legs out. Whatever leg was in back, place that in front now. Weave, deep breaths. Hinge forward and pause here. Slowly come up. Let's extend one leg out. Flex through the foot and point. Flex, point, and then flex it back. So it's drawing. You don't have to be a real active flex here, but just kind of draw the toes in toward the shin and turn the upper body over the lengthened leg, weaving the arms once again as we hinge and attach. Just a gentle stretch here. Breathe into it. Find your edge. Just don't cross your edge. Maybe bring this bottom arm, that inside, reach the top arm. Find that opening through that sideways pectoral shoulder girdle. Reach and lengthen. Slowly return. Seated. Let's switch out the legs. Extend the opposite leg. Point. and flex. Point, flex, and point, flex. Once again, weaving the arms, hinge and attach. Breathe into the stretch. Whatever breath you're using today or at this time, focus on that breath. Notice your breath. Bottom arms, maybe slides to the inside here. We're going to open, reach tall, and lengthen. If this is too much, you can always bend the elbow, place the hand on the shoulder, just modify to accommodate, always. Coming back to center. Let's find Z pose. Now, if you have a blanket or towel or something, and it's not required, but if you have one handy, I'll grab mine here. We're going to go into Z pose. So the sit bone that makes contact with the earth, in this instance, my right, I'm going to have that blanket beneath it, that sit bone. Sit up tall. Just notice that groin stretch. Twist gently one way and the other. Side one and two. Once more. Side one and side two. Center. Just be mindful that can be a little bit of an awkward pose. So we're just going to switch to the other side. Some people, it's easy for them to just simply windshield wiper or flop the knees over to the other side, but that's not always available for everybody. So do what works best for you. Let's twist to side one first. And side two. And one. I did switch out the sit bones as well, making sure that the sit bone making the connection to the earth is supported by that blanket or whatever we may have. Coming back to center, I'm going to bring my soles of the feet together. Just let the thumbs slide behind the ankle bones. Maybe give that little divot a little bit of a massage. It's contraindicated for pregnancy. This is the master kidney connection here, source point, excuse me, and that sends energy directly to our kidneys. So that's a good one to massage. As we just sit up here in this cobbler's pose, giving that massage, keeping the abdominals gently engaged. We'll hinge forward. Head, neck, and spine are in alignment. And then maybe walk the hands out to the sides a little. And then bring in that C curve. Let the chin drop toward the chest. Notice that nice deep C curve stretch. Breathe. Slowly walk your way up. Bring the knees together and just let the knees fall to one side. We'll move to all fours. We can just move this blanket aside for now. Tucking the toes and stacking the wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. Cat cow from this position. Breath flowing as we move. And then bringing the forearms down. If and when you're ready, you may continue that cat cow movement from there. Or if you prefer, from the full arm. And when you are ready, come down onto the forearm. Take the arms about mat width. Soften the heart center and the forehead toward your mat. Gentle shoulder girdle opening here. Slowly begin to draw back through the tailbone. Slide the hands, splay the fingers, and we'll tuck our toes coming into our first downward facing dog. Abdominals engaged, slowly lift. Feet are about hip width apart as we pedal. Dropping the heels toward the earth and then lifting back up. Pressing the knuckles into the earth. Through the hands, breathe. We'll take one more deep breath here. Option to shift into full or kneeling plank. Bringing yourselves back to downward facing dog. And walking the hands and feet into a forward fold. Pausing here. From this position with the wide hand, tracing spleen meridian or weaving the hands slowly up to your standing position. Shake out the hands. And with that ball handy, we have that. Go ahead and just step on it with one foot. Kind of roll it up and down the inner arch. Breathing deeply. This is not necessarily real comfortable, but it helps to stretch out that fascia in the feet. It feels good when we're done with this. Working on that. Maybe move your way toward the center of the foot and down onto the heel. Deep breaths as we move. Finding that outer flare down the pinky toe side of the foot. It's a little bit more awkward. Breathing. And then come to the balls of the feet and the toes and think kind of like fanning out with the toes and just moving side to side along the balls of the feet, beneath, I should say. And just putting as much weight on there as is comfortable or doable for you. Breathing deeply. Get that in the nose, out the mouth, maybe using one of those 5 element sounds. And then lastly, the heel. Pressing down a few times there. This is good living room therapy, I'll call it. Nice to have a ball handy. If you're reading a book, watching TV, whatever you may be doing at any given time, you can get that twofer, have that ball handy, and just begin to massage along the bottoms of the feet. So let's move to the other side. Same thing, that inner arch. Maybe start with the big toe and move down. Noticing any difference from one foot to the other. One might be just a little bit more sensitive. Deep breaths. And then move down the center of the foot. And then that outer flare along the pinky toe line. Again, you might feel a little difference between first foot, second foot. When you feel complete with that, oh, that's a tough one for me there. That pinky toe line, go ahead and move to the balls of the feet and fan the toes out. It's rolling side to side, keeping pressure on that ball or it might just fly out. And finally, let's do one or two more swipes right and left here. And then we'll come to the heel. Sometimes I like to just see how long I can stand on the ball. You can do it from the heel, you can do it from the arch, even up toward the balls of the feet. Right now, we're kind of working on the heel, but you could just go with what feels best right now for you. Just showing you a few different things to do with that ball. Taking a couple more breaths. And then just let that roll to the side. We stand here. Do a yin yang clear. The yin side of the body is the front of the body. Typically, energies run upward, the yang side, the back side, and the energies typically run downward. But we're going to do what's called a yin yang meridian clear. So as we stand here, it's quite simple. Inhale, sweep one hand on top of the other. We got the thumbs on the undersides of the arms. We're coming up, hooking in elbows, undersides toward the armpit. And then cross over the chest and press gently down the front, just swiping down the front off the pinky toes. Weave or trace spleen up. Second side. This time the hands run along the top of the arms, the back side. Actually, they come around the front. Sorry about the awkwardness of this. The front side, and then they move to the back side. Hands down the back, over the bum, behind the thighs. Off and shake. Let's do that one more time so you can be a little bit more clear on that. First side, just take the thumbs and fingers, hook them on the underbelly of the skin of the arms. And then we cross down between the breasts, maybe over the breasts, over the belly, and down the front. Smoothing those energies down. And then we take the other side. We're going to do that awkward cross again. So as we run the hands over the shoulders and then down, we got to come across the chest, but we have to come behind to smooth that back side down. Easy peasy. Shake it off. I probably made it a little bit more complicated than it is. So there you go. Pause. Deep breaths here. Let's reach the palms overhead. Stand tall, create that arrow. Ground down through both soles of the feet. Extend to one side. Deep stretch here. Come back to the center. Other side. And come back to center. Back bend. Really engage those abs like crazy, protecting low back. Center. This time we'll just come forward to that about 90-degree angle. Reach forward with fingertips, back with the tailbone. Back to standing. Weave the arms down. Take the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers or just hold one or the other wrists as we stand tall. Find that opening all across the chest, through the upper back. Lift through the crown of the head. Soften knees as we hinge forward. Draw those clasped hands up. Lead with the crown. Chest expansion. Deep breaths. Begin to bend the knees quite a bit to come into chair as we sweep the arms up, draw them overhead, and let's flow in our chair position, sitting back. Bring the arms up and out to the sides and overhead. You can also weave the arms in your chair. So we're flowing in our chair. Breathing, noticing as we sit back, making sure our knees don't pass our toes here. Weight is in the heels, sitting way back in the heels and breathing. Let's do a couple more of these. And then let's open into heaven rushing in. Open the arms, lift the heart center, and breathe it in. Imagine the sun shining down on your face, warming, bringing light, the sounds of the birds. And we can't forget the wind. And then weave the arms to forward fold. Once we're in our forward fold, let's just nod our heads, shake side to side, maybe even just hook your thumbs into your elbow creases, hang in ragdoll. We move side to side. Gentle oblique twists here. Breathing. And then just release the arms. Slowly make your way up to standing. Coming into your mountain pose. Now we're going to practice moving from warrior 1 to warrior 3. So I'm going to step my left foot back, spin that heel back to anchor. Front knee is tracking right over the ankle. Now for a little bit more stability, you can always take the stance a little wider here on your mats. So just keep that in mind. So we focus forward. Maybe the arms are up in our goalpost or goddess arms here. Maybe overhead, wherever it feels right. And when we transition to warrior 2, I just bring the hands down here. We'll hinge and we're going to kind of drag that back toe. Give ourselves that lift, draw that belly button in and up, Uddiyana Bandha. Maybe the arms are along our sides, out like wings. Maybe we're giving ourselves a hug, or maybe we're creating an arrow. And we don't have to stay here that long. We're just going to transition between the two, a slow flow. So, doing what we can, warrior one, and slowly, kind of like a Tai Chi, slow, methodical, focused movement. Breathe and slowly move. We'll do one more on this side. And then come back to stand in your mountain pose, shaking out both legs and the hands. Prepare for side two. Step back to warrior one. Spin that heel to anchor. Arm options for warrior one. And breathe. Slowly transition to warrior three, drawing that belly button in and up. You can always keep that toe down in the back. Options with the arms wherever. See, I just tipped myself over. So doing what we can. Balance is going to differ for all of us. We'll do one more of those. Come back to standing in your mountain pose. Take your hands to your hip hinge and step the feet just a little bit wider than hip width apart. Slow circles. Other direction. Standing once again in our mountain pose. We'll do some sweeping lunges. And again, these are going to be slow, a little bit of a static hold. So we'll come here, step back, lift the heart center, pause, and then step forward. You can touch the toe down, you can go into a balance, pause in your mountain, and go back. Focused, slow movement. I said static, but we're really not static or staying long, but it's slow. Breathing. Let's do one more to each side. Don't be hard on yourselves if we're not balancing for long or at all. We are working on it, we're practicing it, we're always improving. We don't have a bad side or another, we just have one that we're working on, maybe a little bit more than the other. Hang back, shaking it off. Let's take this wide stance. Knees track over the ankles, side to side in this horse stance. Hands are on top of the thighs. Maybe take that down a little deeper. Make sure the knees are supported over the ankles. Always moving the feet to accommodate the knees. Sit down and then come up. Sit down and back up. Doing what we can. We'll do 2 more of these. Breathe. And then heel toe the feet in. Standing in our mountain pose. Weaving the arms overhead into forward fold. Inhale, half lift and sink in. We'll come to downward facing dog, all fours, or supine on our backs. We're going to go into our pigeon pose. So let's step back to whatever position feels right for us for beginning our pigeon pose or our modified pigeon pose on our back sides. So that's the figure 4 stretch. Pedal the feet. I'm starting with my right, lift the right leg up, slide the knee forward. I like this blanket to support that sit bone. Being very mindful of the knee. I keep a deep bend in my knee for protection. Again, everybody's a little different. Some people like to bring and are able to bring their foot out a little bit more. But just be very mindful and focus on protecting the knee, maybe flexing through that foot of the bent knee. We're gazing forward, drawing the belly button in and up to protect the low back in this extended back bend pose. Breathe. Resting. If you aren't already, maybe stack the hands or just place the forehead down onto your mat. Slowly make your way back up. Feels good. You can bend that rear knee, flex, point, flex, point, and splay the fingers. Press through the knuckles as you come back either to all fours or three-legged dog and come back down. Paddling the feet. Lifting opposite leg now. And sliding that knee forward. Same thing, other side. Gazing ahead, finding your focus, and breathing, just dropping into that place that you're feeling a nice deep stretch, sending that breath to those spaces where you're feeling that deep stretch. And once again, coming in to that resting position. And then coming back up. All fours, downward facing dog. Or if you're on your backside, maybe come around into child's pose at this time. I'm in downward facing dog here. Option to shift, full kneeling plank. Maybe do a couple light push-ups, full arm or forearm. And then finding your child's pose. Slowly coming up from here. You have your blanket or towel, whatever you might have handy. We're just going to tuck our toes and come back into your expression of your garland or squat pose. You have your heels supported here. Maybe you're a little higher up. This pose is just so generally good for us, for our constitution. And just the way our digestion works, this is so great at helping our digestion as well. Pose of youth for keeping us strong, flexible. Taking one more breath. I encourage all of you to practice this to the degree that you can every day, just to stay on top of it. Now we're just going to drop down, come on to our back sides, and draw the knees into the chest. rolling gently side to side, hugging the knees into our chest. With the arms wide now, let the knees just fall to one side and take your gaze over the opposite shoulder, pinning the shoulder blades down as best you can. Using the abdominals, draw the knees in and come back to center. Notice that engagement, dropping the knees to the other side as you take your gaze over the opposite shoulder. Once again, come to center, using those abdominals to bring yourself center. Side one. Center and side two. Come back to center. Hug the knees in. Take a deep breath. Using any of those 5 element sounds, holding the ankles or the outer blades of the feet, making happy baby, pressing down through that the balls of the feet, second and third toe, kidney one, wellspring of life. Just getting that water element. Notice the gentle release through the small of the back here as you push down or knees toward the armpits. And then finding your Shavasana, whatever that may look like for you today. Taking a couple minutes to just relax, let go, and be. Bringing your awareness back to your fingers, wiggling the fingers and toes. Take a deep breath. Roll to your side as you're ready. Joining me in seated once again as you're ready. And then just taking your focus back to any intention you may have set for your practice today. A deep breath, gratitude, exhale. Thank you all for coming to practice with me today. Can't wait until we meet again. Namaste.